Do you have anything you can tell us real quick about like the world of fighting or MMA or like how to like defend yourself or security guard stuff?
Well, I mean, honestly, you gotta love it. Like, and you have to have a heart for it. Again, because I've seen many people like, go up to be the next MJ or the next this or that, and like, to be, it depends. Like, boxing, the UFC, like MMA type of stuff, like, all that is different, right?
Right.
Not all of it, but, but it is different because, yeah, I think you're playing, let's say, Little League football. Then they go from Little League to middle school to high school to, collegiate, and they think they'll make somebody, right? Be somebody. It may happen, and you may be a great player. And I've seen plenty of guys, I've had guys who might have coached, they've been walk-ons for certain teams, and still didn't make it because of politics, So, that's one thing. And then you gotta think about how many people think you're gonna make it. And the amount of, time you gotta put in, some people are willing to make that sacrifice, especially this day and age. Too many people are entitled, they don't want to put in the work, which makes it, it's evident. Even a lot of athletes these days still, because of the image, they don't want to try too hard, because because it is, if you put your heart and soul into it, you get passionate. I mean, it crushes you just even, if it's a team sport because you lost, or even if you were like a one-on-one with somebody, it crushes you. And the amount of time, effort it takes to think about it, as I said, Michael Jordan spent hours, right, for you to be a fighter. If you're a boxer, and if you can do MMA, you do technical groundwork, hours and hours and hours. You gotta sacrifice play time. You guys, going out, partying with friends, drinking, because you gotta stay healthy. You sacrifice a social life, like girlfriend sometimes, she has to be really understanding. So, for a boyfriend, if you're into it, I don't subscribe to all that, but, I'm just saying, it takes a lot that most people are not willing to give up, right? When I used to compete, I was trained minimum 3 hours a day, and I had camp, man, at least 4 or 5 hours, and I had like 6 days a week. So, yeah, most people are not able to do that. And that's it. So you have to have that passion, that, that heart, and then to stay there. And me personally, the other thing that drove me was, being able to, hey, since I was young and I was scrapping on the streets, but, I, also didn't want to be somebody else's punching bag. I hated bullies, so I wanted to beat up bullies, and didn't want to be somebody else's punching bag. So what I did is like, if I'm gonna train, I'm gonna train. And, if I'm gonna step in the ring, I'm gonna step in the ring with a cage to people who are better to learn, even if I'm ass beat, because it's a learning lesson. But, and to get your ass beat, it's, people ain't got that, it's sometimes humiliating, in depending on your perspective. And it's okay. Losses are only lessons. And, maybe you should bob this to the weed, maybe you should, do something else, right? You learn along the way.
So this is the new channel, the Chris Enzo Core channel. You've seen me and everything I've done with 5-Star. Benny's actually in the 5-Star Brotherhood. And before me and Benny even had that chat going, Benny's been known to drop knowledge and wisdom on everybody he meets, bro. You're always giving us that sauce in the chat, always telling us something that's going to level us up. What is going on today, and what do people need to know from the wisdom of Benny, bro? What is wrong with the ether? Tell us, bro.
Honestly, what's wrong? Many things, right? If you got to stand for something, fall for anything. So people don't have a lot of backbone. They flip sides too quickly. They give up too easily. And they pussies, in my language. Excuse me, ladies.
You can say it. It trickles into politics, relationships, everywhere.
You have to be tolerant, and I understand the tolerance to a certain extent for certain things. But also, like, they're also too entitled. Like, again, I'm 42 years old, so now another reason why probably because they're dropping some knowledge, right? Is that I was born in Romania, in the communist country. I remember waiting in line for the little passport book that tells you how much rations of food you'll have to have for the week. I skipped lived in the refugee camp in Yugoslavia. Came here, had nothing. Parents finally got there some success, just low middle class, and then we lost it all again. and been through those struggles. I only say this because most people these days, yeah, I'm 42 years old. Okay, 9/11 happened in 2001. That's how long ago? 21 years ago.
24 years ago.
24, yes, sir. 24 years ago.
Yeah.
24 years ago. Most people these days don't even remember that. No, they think, not getting a reservation this favorite spot or getting a car that they want to. Like, I remember when my mom moved from one area to getting out of a certain environment to another area, and kids were crying because their mom bought them a Honda instead of a BMW, right? And like spoiled entitled kids. So it goes, the people are just too easy. Make it hard. There's nothing wrong. Like, make it challenging for yourself. Embrace the suck, as they say in the military, right? Painless weakness leaving the body, and the only way you get stronger in the gym is by challenging yourself. The only way you get stronger in life is by challenging yourself. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Don't rely on the handout. Make it on your own. It's really easy to ask mom and pop. Even now, even to this day, my mom's showing, like, today, I can even show you, like, my mom just, out of blue, just sent me someone, like, I sent her double back. Like, why? Why?
Yeah.
Like, just to show I don't need that photo,
100%.
But that's the thing that too many people expect things from other people. It's okay. I've slept in trap houses. I've slept on the streets. I've been in group homes. I've been in variety settings. In desert. Well,
yeah.
But, it built a certain amount of character. And I think everyone should go through that. Right? So that's what's wrong.
Struggle.
The struggle. And I think they have the struggle beside them, being in the gutter.
So a lot of people don't actually know this about Benny, but he's from Romania. Top G, Andrew Tate is from Romania. Last time I ran into you, you were actually chilling with Andrew Tate. So we got to know, when is the Andrew Tate Benny podcast happening? Or when you're coming on my podcast, bro?
You got me on now. That's it.
Let's go.
Hey, you've been trying to get me on here with this little video thing for the longest time. Even like when we first met years ago, he used to do the gym moments. He post those on IG or Facebook or whatever. He post them like, dude.
We got a lot of training to go.
Dude, I might basically want this sometimes.
I'm in it with you, Benny. If they flag you, they flag me, bro.
No.
This was happening, bro. We gotta learn how to fight this shit.
Not like me, dude. So, part of the reason is because, I like people with silence. They say real gangster with silence.
Don't use with silence like lasagna.
I've learned many lessons the hard way, but I also learned them from, many aspects. And I like people for my business. And here's what I'm going to just never let somebody know you're next to me. Because one, if you're doing well, you can be hating. And if you're doing well, then you lose it, then they'll go ahead and make fun of you. So never let nobody know. No, fuck all that faucet. I'd rather key a Stinger. I could drive a Mercedes-Benz. Why? Actually, the Stinger is like a low-key BMW. Because it's, the Stinger was completely designed by BMW, so I love it. But it's a low-key, I say low. If I have to like snuff somebody, I can get out of there. Nobody really know me. They ain't looking, can't see my face everywhere. If the government want to find me, I'll make it hard for them to find me. That's why I don't be all over social media, even though I had little moments where I was almost all over. So this is the one time you call me and okay, so you already got a camera out. I'm going to go ahead and play along. I'll be a good sport.
Hey, yo, thank you, man. I appreciate that.